Get a taxi, Freddie. Do you want me to catch pneumonia?
Oh, sorry, Mother. I'll get a taxi right away. Sorry.
Oh, he's your son, is he? Well, if you'd done your duty by him as a mother should, you wouldn't let him spoil the poor girl's flowers and then run away without paying.
You're about your business, my girl.
2 bunches of violets, trouble and mad.
Taxi! Taxi!
Sorry, Captain. Buy a flower for poor girl.
I'm sorry, my dear, I haven't any change.
Change £0.50. Here, take this with tucks.
I really haven't any. Here's 3 halfpence if that's any use to you.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, you be careful. You better give him a flower pick. There's a bloke there behind that pillar taking down every blessed word you're saying.
I ain't done nothing wrong by speaking to the gentleman. I've a right to sell flowers if I keep off the curb. I'm a respectable girl. So help me, I never spoke to him except you're asking to buy a flower off me. Oh, sir, don't let him charge me. You don't know what it means to me. He'll take away my character and drive me on the streets for speaking to gentlemen.
There. Who's harassing you, silly girl? What do you take me for?
Oh, my Bible oath, I never said a word.
Shut up. Do I look like a policeman?
What do you take down my words for? How do I know whether you took me down right? You just show me what you wrote about me. What's this? That ain't proper writing. I can't read that.
I can. I say, Captain, buy a flower off a poor girl.
It's because I call him Captain. I meant no harm. Oh, sir, don't let him lay a charge against me for a word like that.
Charge? I make no charge. Oh, really, sir, if you are the detective, you needn't begin protecting me against molestation by young women until I ask you. Anybody can see the girl with no harm.
He ain't the detective. He's a gentleman. Look at his boots.
How are your people down at Chelsea?
He told you my people came from Chelsea.
Never mind. They did. How do you happen to be up so far east? You were born in Lisson Grove.
Ooh, what harm was there in my leaving Lisson Grove? It wasn't fit for a pig to live in and I had to buy 4 and 6 away.
Live where you like. Stop that noise!
Come, we can't touch you. You have a right to live where you please.
I'm a good girl, I am.
Here, where do I come from then?
Boxton.
Well, who says I didn't? Oh, you know everything, you. Here, tell us where he comes from, if you want to go fortune telling.
Cheltenham, Harrow, Cambridge, and India?
Quite right.
Blimey, he ain't a tack. He's a blooming busybody. That's what he is.
May I ask you, sir, do you do this sort of thing as a living on the music hall?
I have thought of that. Perhaps I will someday.
He's no gentleman, he ain't to interfere with a poor girl.
How do you do it, may I ask?
Simple phonetics. The science of speech. That's my profession, also my hobby. Anyone can spot an Irishman or a Yorkshireman by his brogue. I can place a man within 6 miles. I can place a man within 2 miles in London. Sometimes within 2 streets.
Ought to be ashamed of himself, unmanly coward.
Is there a living in there?
Oh, yes. Quite a fat one.
Let him mind his own business and leave a poor girl.
Come on! Cease this detestable boohooing instantly. Or seek the shelter of some other place of worship.
Oh, right to me if I like, same as you.
A woman who utters such depressing and disgusting sounds has no right to be anywhere. No right to live. Remember that you are a human being with a soul and the divine gift of articulate speech. That your native language is the language of Shakespeare, Milton and the Bible. And don't sit there crooning like a bilious pigeon. Look at her, a prisoner on the gutter. Condemned by every syllable she utters. By right she should be taken out and hung for the cold-blooded murder of the English tongue. Heavens, what a noise! This is what the British population calls an elementary education.
Oh, come, sir, I think you picked a for itself.
Did I? Hear them down in Solihull Square, dropping H's everywhere, speaking English uptight. Hear a Yorkshire man, or worse, hear a Cornish man converse. I'd rather hear a choir singing flat. Chickens cackling in a barn, just like this one. Gan! Gan! I ask you, sir, what sort of a word is that? It's our garn that keep her in her place. Not her wretched clothes and dirty face. Why can't the English teach their children how to speak? This verbal class distinction by now should be antique. If you spoke like she does, sir, instead of the way you do, why, you might be selling flowers too. Beg your pardon, sir. An Englishman's way of speaking absolutely classifies him. The moment he talks, he makes some other Englishman despise him. One common language I'm afraid we'll never get. Why can't the English learn to set a good example to people whose English is painful to your ears? The Scotch and the Irish leave you close to tears. There even are places where English completely disappears. In America, they haven't used it for years. Why can't the English teach their children how to speak? Norwegians learn Norwegian, the Greeks are taught their Greek. In France, every Frenchman knows his language on A to Z. French don't care what they do, actually, as long as they pronounce it properly. The Reagans learn Arabian with the speed of summer lightning. The Hebrews learn it backwards, which is absolutely frightening. But used proper English, you're regarded as a freak. Oh, why can't the English? Why can't the English learn to curbstone English. The English that will keep it in the gutter for the rest of her days. Well, sir, in 6 months I could pass her off as a duchess at an embassy ball. I could even get her replaced as a lady's maid or a shop assistant, which require better English.
Here, what's that you say?
Yes, you squashed cabbage leaf. You disgrace the noble architecture of these columns. You incarnate insult to the English language. I can pass you off as the Queen of Sheba.
Taxi.
Oh, you don't believe that, Captain?
Taxi. Well, anything is possible. I myself am a student of the Indian dialect.
Are you? Do you know Colonel Pickering, author of Spoken Sanskrit?
I am Colonel Pickering. Who are you?
Henry Higgins, author of Higgins' Universal Alphabet.
I came all the way from India to meet you.
And I was going to India to meet you.
Higgins.
Pickering. Where are you staying?
At the Carlton.
Oh, no, you're not. You're staying at 27A Wimpole Street. Come with me and we'll have a jaw over supper.
Right you are.
Firefly, kind sir. I'm short for me lodging.
Liar. You said you could change half a crown.
You ought to be stuffed with nails, you ought. Here, take the old blooming basket for 6pence.
Indian dialect.
Ah! Ah! Ah!
Shouldn't we raise our hats, gentlemen? We got a blooming heiress now. Would you be looking for a good butter in life?
You won't do.
It's rather dull in town, I think I'll take me to Paris. The visit wants to open up the castle in Capri. The doctor recommends a quiet summer by the sea.
Where are you bound for this string riser? Pirates!
All I want is blue somewhere, far away from my head. With our enormous chair, I wouldn't it be lovely? Lots of shade to read, lots of colour, lots of red.
straight from the boat I left, with honey enormous chest of wood, and it'd be lovely.
Lots of chocolate for me to eat, lots of coal and lots of meat. Small pie, small and small feet, oh, it'd be lovely. Oh, so lovely, since you're absolutely blue, still. I would never much just breathe. Get out of the windowsill, someone's head resting on my knee. Warm and tender as he can be, who takes good care of me.
Thanks for your hospitality, George. Send a bill to Buckingham Palace. I parked to walk through on a fine spring night. The old ratty city of London just strolled about in selling her blooming flowers. I gives her all that, and then I disappears and leaves her on her own to enjoy it. Now, if that ain't worth half a crown now and again, I'd take off my belt to her and give her what for.
You've got a good heart, Alfie. But if you want that half crown off Liza, you'd better have a good story going.
Eliza, what a surprise.
Not a brass farm.
Now, look here, Eliza. You wouldn't have the heart to send me out to your stepmother without a bit of liquid protection, now would you?
Stepmother? Stepmother, indeed.
Well, I'm willing to marry her. It's me that satisfied. I'm a slave to that woman, Eliza, and all because I ain't a lawful husband. Come on. Slip your old dad off.
Well, I had a bit of luck myself tonight. So here.
3 large beers, George, please. All right.
But don't keep coming round counting half crowns from me.
Good night, Eliza. You're a noble daughter. You see, I told you not to go home. It's just faith. Oh. And a little bit of luck. The Lord above gave man an arm of iron, so he could do his job and never shirk. The Lord above gave a man an arm of iron, but with a little bit of luck, with a little bit of luck, someone else will do the thing. With a little bit, with a little bit, with a little bit of luck, you'll never work. The Lord above made liquor for temptation, to see if man could turn away from sin. The Lord above made liquor for temptation, but with a little bit of luck, with a little bit of luck, when temptation comes along. With a little bit, with a little bit, with a little bit of luck, you'll get right in. Oh, you can walk the life of manna, but with a little bit of luck, you'll run. The gentle sex was made for man to marry, to share his nest and see his food, his coat. The gentle sex was made for men to marry. With a little bit of luck, with a little bit of luck, you can have a little bit. With a little bit, with a little bit, with a little bit of luck, you'll not get old. With a little bit, with a little bit, with a little bit of luck. You see, boys, we got to be able enough, ain't we? The Lord above made man to help his neighbour, no matter where, on land or sea or foul. The Lord above made a man to help his neighbour. With a little bit of luck, with a little bit of luck, when he got to run his work. With a little bit, with a little bit, with a little bit of luck, you won't be old. They'll always know in progress and love.
vain listening to all these foul sounds. I'm quite done up for this morning.
Mr. Higgins! Are you there?
What is it, Mrs. Pierce?
There's a young woman to see you, sir.
A young woman? What does she want? Has she an interesting accent? Let's have her up. Show her up, Mrs. Pierce.
Very well, sir. It's for you to say.
This is rather a bit of luck. I'll show you how I make records. We'll set her talking. I'll take her down in Bell's visible speech, then broad rhomic, and then we'll get her on the phonograph. So you can turn her on as often as you like, with the written transcript before you.
This is the young woman, sir.
Now this is the girl I took down last night. She's no use. I've got all the records I want of the Listen Grove lingo, and I'm not wasting another cylinder on it. Be off with you, I don't want you.
Don't be so saucy. You ain't heard what I come for yet. Did you tell him I'll come in a taxi?
Nonsense, girl. What do you think a gentleman like Mr. Higgins cares what you came in?
Ah, we are proud. He ain't above giving lessons, not him. I heard him say so. Well, I ain't here to ask for any compliment. And if my money's not good enough, I can go elsewhere.
Good enough for what?
Good enough for you. Now you know, don't you? I'm come to have lessons, I am, and to pay for them too, make no mistake.
Well, what do you expect me to say to you?
Well, if you was a gentleman, you might ask me to sit down, I think. Don't I tell you I'm bringing you business?
Hickory, shall we ask this baggage to sit down? Or shall we throw her out of the window?
Oh, I won't be called a baggage when I've offered to pay like any lady.
What do you want, my girl?
I want to be a lady in a flower shop, instead of selling on the corner of Tottenham Court Road. But they won't take me unless I can talk more genteel. He said he could teach me. Well, here I am, ready to pay, not asking any favour, and he treats me as if I was dirt. I know what lessons cost as well as you do, and I'm ready to pay.
How much?
Now you're talking. I thought you'd come off it when you saw a chance of getting back a bit of what you chucked at me last night. You'd had a drop in, hadn't you?
Sit down.
You want to make a coffee?
Sit down!
Sit down, girl. Do as you're told.
What is your name?
Eliza Doolittle.
Won't you sit down, Miss Doolittle?
Oh, I don't mind if I do.
How much do you propose to pay me for the lessons?
Oh, I know what's right. A lady friend of mine gets French lessons for 18 pence an hour from a real French gentleman. Well, you wouldn't have the face to ask me the same for teaching me my own language as you would for French. So I won't give more than a shilling. Take it or leave it.
You know, Pickering, if you consider a shilling, not as a simple shilling, but as a percentage of this girl's income, it works out as fully equivalent to 60 or 70 pounds from a millionaire. By George, that's the biggest offer I ever had.
60 pounds? What are you talking about? I never offered you 60 pounds. Where was I?
Oh, hold your tongue.
But I ain't got 60 pounds.
Ah, you silly girl. Sit down. Nobody's going to touch your money.
Somebody will touch you with a broomstick if you don't stop snivelling. Now sit down.
Oh, anyone would think you was my father.
If I decide to teach you, I'll be worse than two fathers to you. Here.
What's this for?
It's to wipe your eyes. It's to wipe any part of your face which feels moist. And remember, that is your handkerchief. That is your sleeve. Don't mistake the one for the other if you wish to become a lady in the shop.
Higgins, I'm interested. What about your boast that you could pass her off as a duchess at the embassy ball? I'll say you're the greatest teacher alive if you can make that good. I'll bet you all the expense of the experiment you can't do it, and I'll even pay for the lessons.
Oh, you're real good. Thank you, Captain.
It's almost irresistible. She's so deliciously low. So horribly dirty.
Oh, I ain't dirty. I washed my face and hands before I come, I did.
I'll take it. I'll make a duchess of this draggle-tailed gutter snipe. I'll start today. Now, this minute. Take her away and clean her, Mrs. Pierce. Sandpaper. Is there a good fire in the kitchen?
Yes.
Take off all the clothes and burn them. Bring up and order some new ones. Wrap her in brown paper till they come.
You're no gentleman, you're not to talk of such things. I'm a good girl, I am, and I know what the likes of you are, I do.
We want none of your slum-prudery here, young woman. You've got to learn to behave like a duchess. Take her away, Mrs. Pierce. If she gives you any trouble, wallop her.
I'll call the police, I will.
But I've got no place to put her.
Put her in the dustbin.
Come, Higgins, be reasonable.
You must be reasonable, Mr. Higgins. Really, you must. You can't walk over everybody like this.
I? Walk over everybody? My dear Mrs. Pierce. My dear Piggery, I had not the slightest intention of walking over anybody. I only proposed that we should be kind to the poor girl. And if I did not treat her like that, it was only because I did not wish to hurt her delicacy. Or yours.
But you can't take up a girl like that, as if you were picking up a pebble on the beach.
Why not?
Why not? But you don't know anything about her. What about her parents?
She may be married.
Gone.
There. As the girl very correctly says. Gah.
Who'd marry me?
By George, Eliza, the streets will be strewn with the bodies of men shooting themselves for your sake. For I finish with you.
Here, I'm going away. He's off his chump, he is. I don't want no barmies teaching me.
Oh, indeed. I'm mad, am I? Very well, Mrs. Pierce. You needn't order those new clothes. Throw her out.
Stop, Mr. Higgins. I won't allow it. Go home to your parents, girl.
I ain't got no parents.
There. You see? She ain't got no parents. So what's all the fuss about? The girl doesn't belong to anybody. She's no use to anybody but me. Oh, take her upstairs.
But what's to become of her? Is she to be paid anything? Oh, do be sensible, sir.
What on earth does she want with money? She'll have her food and her clothes. She'll only drink if you give her money.
Oh, you're a brute. It's a lie. Nobody ever saw the sign of liquor on me.
Oh.
Oh, sir, you're a gentleman. Don't let him speak to me like that.
Just to hurt you, Higgins, the girl has some feelings.
Oh, no. No feelings that we need worry about. Have you, Eliza?
Mr. Higgins, I must know on what terms the girl is to be here. What is to become of her when you have finished your teaching? You must look ahead a little, sir.
What is to become of her if I leave her in the gutter? Answer me that, Mrs. Pierce.
That's her own business, not yours, Mr. Higgins.
Well, when I have finished with her, we'll throw her back into the gutter. And then it will be her own business again. So that's all right.
Oh, you've no feeling harm in you. You don't care for nothing but yourself. Here, I've had enough of this. I'm going.
Eliza, have some chocolates.
How do I know what might be in them? I've heard of girls being dragged by the like of you.
A pledge of good faith, Eliza. I eat one half, and you eat the other. You shall have boxes of them, barrels of them every day. You shall live off them, eh?
I wouldn't have ate it. I'm too ladylike to take it out of my mouth.
Think of it, Eliza. Think of chocolates, and taxes, and gold and diamonds.
No, I don't want no gold, no diamonds. I'm a good girl, I am.
Excuse me, Higgins, I really must interfere. Mrs. Pierce is quite right. If this girl is to place herself in your hands for 6 months for an experiment in teaching, she must understand thoroughly what she's doing.
Eliza, you are to stay here for the next 6 months, learning how to sleep beautifully, like a lady in a florist's shop. If you're good and do whatever you're told, you shall sleep in a proper bedroom and have lots to eat and money to buy chocolates and take rides and taxis. If you're naughty and idle, you will sleep in the back kitchen among the black beetles and be walloped by Mrs. Pierce with a broomstick. At the end of 6 months, you shall go to Buckingham Palace in a carriage, beautifully dressed. If the king finds out you're not a lady, you will be taken by the police to the Tower of London, where your head will be cut off as a warning to other presumptuous flower girls. If you're not found out, you shall have a present of 7 and 6 to start life as a lady in a shop. If you refuse this offer, you will be the most ungrateful, wicked girl, and the angels will weep for you. Now, are you satisfied, Pickering? Could I put it more plainly or fairly, Mrs. Gerst?
Come with me, Eliza.
That's it, Mrs. Pierce. Bundle her off to the bathroom.
You're a great bully, you are. I won't stay if I don't like, and I won't let nobody wallop me.
Don't answer back, girl.
If I'd known what I was letting myself in for, I wouldn't have come up here. I've always been a good girl, and it won't be put upon.
It is 6. It's 6 months in 3 if she has a good ear and a quick tongue. I'll take her anywhere. I'll pass her off as anything. I'll make her queen of that barbarous wretch.
Higgins, forgive the bluntness, but if I'm to be in this business, I shall feel responsible for the girl. I do hope it's clearly understood that no advantage is to be taken of her position.
Oh, that thing was secret, I assure you.
Oh, come, Higgins, you know what I mean. This is no trifling matter. Are you a man of good character where women are concerned?
Have you ever met a man of good character where women are concerned?
Very frequently.
Well, I have. I find the moment I let a woman make friends with me, she becomes jealous, exacting, suspicious, and a damn nuisance. And I find the moment I let myself become friends with a woman, I become selfish and tyrannical. So, here I am, a confirmed old bachelor, and likely to remain so. After all, Pickering, I'm an ordinary man. Who desires nothing more than just an ordinary chance to live exactly as he likes and do precisely what he wants. An average man am I, oh no eccentric whim, who likes to live his life free of strife, doing whatever he thinks is best for him. Just an ordinary man. There's a woman in your life, and your serenity is gone. She will decorate your home from the cellar to the dome, and then get on to being boring fun on boring you. There's a woman in your life, and you are up against all. Make a plan and you will find she has something else in mind. Better rather than do either, you do something else that neither likes at all. You want to talk of Keats or Milton, she only wants to talk of love. You go to see a play or ballet, and spend it searching for her glove. Oh, this woman in your life, and you invite it to tonight. Let them buy their wedding bands for those anxious little hands. I'd be equally as willing for a dentist to be thrilling and to ever let a woman in my life. I'm a very gentle man, even-tempered and good-natured. You'll never hear complain. He has the milk of love and kindness line of course in every vein. A patient man am I, down to my fingertips. The sort who never could, never would let an insulting remark escape his lips. Just a very gentle man. But there's a woman in your life, and patience hasn't got a chance. She will beg you for advice, she'll be highly concise, she will listen very nicely, and go out and do precisely what she likes. You are a man of grace and polish, never spoke of a hush. Now all at once you're using language that would make the sailor blush. Oh, there's a woman in your life, and you're plunging in the knife. Let them buy their wedding bands for those anxious little hands. I'd be very
high, of philosophic joys, who like to meditate, to contemplate, free from humanity's man in human eyes. Just a barren man. But there's a woman in your life, and your sabbatical is through. In a line that never ends comes an army of her friends, come to jabber and to chatter and to tell her what the matter is with you. She's got a lonely, boisterous family, full of scent on your little hot grass. She's got a lord for murder mother, through the ice that shatters glass. Oh, little woman in your life. Oh, little woman in your life. Oh, little woman in your life. I shall never get a woman in my life.
How'd you like that? Knocked me for a row of pins, it did.
Come on, Doolittle. Out you go. Up it now. I ain't running no charity bazaar.
Thanks for your hospitality, George. Send the bill.
Yeah, I know. Send the bill to Buckingham Palace.
Here, you can buy your own drinks now, Elfie Doolittle. Falling into a tub of butter you have.
What tub of that?
Your daughter Eliza. Ah, you're a lucky man, Elfie Doolittle.
What are you talking about? What about it?
He don't know. Her own father, and he don't know. Moved in with a swell, Eliza has. Left here in a taxi, all by herself, smart as paint. And ain't been home for 3 days. Then I gets a message from her this morning. Says she wants her things sent over to 27A Wimpole Street, care of Professor Higgins. And what things does she want? A bouquet and a Chinese bag. But she said, never mind about sending any clothes.
I know she had a career in front of her. Hey, boy, we're in for a boozer. The sun is shining on Alfred P. Doolittle. A man was made
during meals. When will it stop?
But she does it properly, of course. Is that all, Mrs. Pierce?
No, sir, the mail.
Pay the bills and say no to the invitations.
Here's another letter from that American millionaire, Ezra D. Wallingford. He still wants you to lecture for his Moral Reform League.
Throw it away.
It's the third letter he's written you, sir. You should at least answer it.
Oh, very well. Put it on the desk. I'll get to it.
If you please, sir, there's a dustman downstairs, Alfred Doolittle, who wants to see you. He says you have his daughter here.
You, I say.
Send the blackguard up.
He may not be a blackguard, Higgins.
Nonsense, of course he's a blackguard.
Whether he is or not, I'm afraid we shall have some trouble with him.
Oh, I think not. If there's any trouble, he shall have it with me. Not I with him.
Doolittle, sir.
Professor Higgins?
Here.
Morning, Governor. I come about a very serious matter, Governor.
Born in Hounslow, mother Welsh. What do you want to do, little?
I want my daughter, that's what I want to see.
Well, of course you do. You're the father, aren't you? That's you some spark of family feeling left. She's upstairs here. Take her away.
What?
Take her away. Do you suppose I'm going to keep your daughter for you?
Now look here, Governor. Is this reasonable? Is it fair to take advantage of a man like that? The girl belongs to me. You got her. Where do I come in?
How dare you come here and attempt to blackmail me? You sent her here on purpose.
Now, don't take a man up like that, Governor.
Oh, the police shall take you up. This is a plant, a plot to extort money by threats.
Oh, I should telephone the police. Have I asked you for a brass farthing? I'll leave it to the gentleman here. I said a word about money.
What else have you come for?
Oh, what would a man come for? Be human, Governor.
Alfred, you sent her here on purpose.
So help me, Governor, I never did.
But how did you know she was here?
I'll tell you if you only let me get a word in. I'm willing to tell you. I'm wanting to tell you. I'm waiting to tell you.
Pickering, this chap has a certain natural gift of rhetoric. Observe the rhythm of his native wood notes wild. I'm willing to tell you. I'm wanting to tell you. I'm waiting to tell you. That's the Welsh strain in him. How did you know Eliza was here if you didn't send her?
She sent back for a luggage and I got to hear about it. She said she didn't want no clothes. Well, what was I to think from that, Governor? I ask you, as a parent, what was I to think?
So, you came to save her from worse than death, eh?
Just so, Governor, that's right.
Mrs. Pierce, Eliza's father has come to take her away. Give her to him.
No, wait a minute, Governor, wait a minute. You and me is men of the world, ain't we?
Oh, men of the world, are we? You'd better go, Mrs. Pierce.
I think so indeed, sir.
I'll take a sort of liking to you, Governor. If you want the girl, I'm not so set on having her back home again. But what I might be able to do is an arrangement. All I ask is my rights as a father. You're the last man in the world to expect me to let her go for nothing. Of course, I can see you're one of the straight sort, Governor. Well, what's a £5 note to you? And what's Eliza to me?
I think you ought to know, Doolittle, that Mr. Higgins' intentions are entirely honourable.
Of course they are, Governor. If I thought there wasn't, I'd ask 50.
You mean to say you'll sell your daughter for £50?
Have you no morals, man?
Oh, Governor, I can't afford them. I'll look at you if you was as poor as me. Not that I mean any harm, mind you. But if Eliza's going to get something out of this, why not me too, eh? Look at it my way. What am I? I ask you, what am I? I'm one of the undeserving poor, that's what I am, and think what that means to a man. It means he's up against middle-class morality all the time. If there's anything going and I puts in for a bit of it, it's always the same story. You're undeserving, so you can't have it. But my need is as great as the most deserving widow that ever got money out of 6 different charities in the same week for the death of the same husband. I don't need less than a deserving man. I need more. I don't eat less hearty than he does. I drink a lot more. I'm playing straight with you. I'm not pretending to be deserving. I'm undeserving. And I mean to go on being undeserving. I like it and that's the truth. But will you take advantage of a man's nature and do him at the price of his own daughter? What he's brought up, fed and clothed by the sweat of his brow? Don't he grow big enough to be just to you two gentlemen? Is £5 unreasonable? I'll put it to you and leave it to me.
You know, Pickering, if we were to take this chap in hand for 3 months, he could choose between a seat in the cabinet and a popular pulpit in Wales. I suppose we ought to give him a fiver.
He'll make bad use of it, I'm afraid.
Not me, Governor, so I won't. Just one good spree for myself and the missus. Bringing pleasure to ourselves, employment to others, and satisfaction to you to know it ain't been thrown away. Oh, you couldn't spend it better.
This is irresistible. Let's give him 10.
Oh, no. The missus wouldn't have the heart to spend 10. £10 a lot of money. It makes a man feel prudent like, and then goodbye happiness. No, you just gives me what I asked for. Not a penny less, not a penny more.
I rather draw the line at encouraging this sort of immorality. Doolittle, why don't you marry this missus of yours? After all, now she's not so frightening. You married Eliza's mother.
Who told you that, Governor?
Well, nobody told me. I just concluded naturally.
Oh, not likely.
Pickering, if we listen to this fellow for another minute, we'll have no convictions left. £5, I think you said.
Thank you, Governor.
No! I won't sign those ready vows one more time.
Blimey. It's Eliza. I didn't think she'd clean up so good looking. She does me credit, don't she, Governor?
Here, what are you doing here?
You hold your tongue and don't give these gentlemen none of your lip. If you have any difficulty with a gentleman, just give her a few licks of the strap. That's the way to improve her mind. Morning, gentlemen. Good evening, Eliza.
By George, there's a man in it for you. A philosophical genius of the first water. Mrs. Pierce writes to Mr. Ezra Wallingford and tell him if he wants a lecturer, to get in touch with a Mr. Alfred P. Doolittle, Common Dusters. One of the most original moralists in England.
Yes, sir. Here. What did he come for?
Say your vows.
I know me vows. I knew them before I come.
If you know them, say them.
I-E-I-O-U.
Say A-E-I-O-U.
That's what I said. I-E-I-O-U. I've been signing them for 3 days. I won't sign no more.
I know it's difficult, Miss Doolittle, but try to understand.
No use explaining, Pickering. As a military man, you ought to know that. Drilling is what she needs. Much better leave her, or she'll only be turning to you for sympathy.
All right, if you insist. But have a little patience with her, Higgins.
Of course. Say A.
You ain't got no heart, you ain't.
A!
Hey!
I promise you, you will pronounce your vowels correctly before this day is out. Or there will be no dinner, and no chocolate.
Just you wait, Henry, just you wait. You'll be sorry that your tears will be tonight. You'll be broken all of money, but I hope you don't be funny. Just you wait, Henry, just you wait. Just you wait, Henry, close to your But all I want is every Higgins Ed. Dances along the street. Not going in the block. And a bunch of friends to as I raise their rifles higher, I'll shout ready and fire! And Higgins, down you go, and Higgins, just you wait. The rhyme in spine dives mindly in the plough.
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
Didn't I say that?
No, Eliza, you did not sigh that. You didn't even say that. Every night, before you get into your bed, where you used to say your prayers, I want you to repeat, the rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain, 50 times. You'll get much further with the Lord if you learn not to offend his ear. Now for your H's. Oh, Pickering, this is going to be ghastly.
Control yourself, Higgins, and give the girl a chance.
Of course. No one expects her to get it right first time. Now, watch closely, Eliza. Oh. Let's try again. You see this flame? Every time you say your H properly, the flame will remain stationary. Every time you drop your H, the flame will remain stationary. Every time you say your H, the flame will flicker. Every time you drop your H, the flame will remain stationary. That's how you'll know you've done it correctly. In time, your ear will hear the difference. Now, listen carefully. In Hertford, Hereford, and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen. Now, you repeat after me. In Hertford, Hereford, and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen.
In Hertford, Hereford and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen.
No, no, no! Have you no ear at all?
Should I do it over?
No. Please, no. We can start at the very beginning. Do this. Ha, ha, ha.
Ha, ha, ha.
Well, go on.
Ha, ha, ha.
Does the same thing hold true in India, Pickering? This peculiar habit of not only dropping a letter, like the letter H, but using one where it shouldn't be, like hever instead of ever. Notice some of the Slavic peoples, when they learn English, have a tendency to that with their G's. They'll say linger instead of linger, and then turn round and say singer instead of singer. I wonder why that is. I'm just looking at her. Go on, go on.
Night and day he stays awake.
cup of tea. Kind of you. Cup of tea. Kind of you. Say, a cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
No, cup of tea. It's awfully good cake. Wonder where Mrs. Pierce gets it.
First rate, and those strawberry tarts are delicious. And did you try the flying kite?
Now try it again, Eliza. Cup of tea.
A cup of tea.
Can't you hear the difference? Put your tongue forward until it squeezes against the top of your teeth. Now, say cup.
Cup.
Now, say of.
Of.
Now, say cup, 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 of.
Cup, of.
By Joe Higgins, that's a glorious tea. I say you finish the last strawberry tart, I couldn't eat another thing.
No, thanks, really, old chap.
It's a shame to waste it.
Oh, don't go to waste. I know someone who's immensely fond of strawberry tarts.
Oh, Professor Higgins. Oh, Professor Higgins. All he loves against all odds. Oh, Professor Higgins. 9 p.m., 10 p.m., on through midnight every night. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3.
5, 6 marbles. There we are. Now, I want you to read this and enunciate every word as if the marbles were not in your mouth. With blackest moss, the flower pots were thickly clustered, one and all. Each word as clear as a bell.
I say, Higgins, are those pebbles really necessary?
If they were necessary for Demosthenes, they were necessary for Eliza Doolittle. Go on, Eliza. I cannot understand a word. Not one word.
I say, Higgins, perhaps the poem's too difficult for the girl. Why don't you try a simple one like the owl and the pussycat? Oh, yes, it's charming.
Pickering, I cannot hear the girl. What is the matter? Why not?
I swallowed one.
Oh, don't worry, I've plenty more.
Chris, Professor Higgins. Chris, Professor Higgins. Here are we all day, we will Chris, Professor Higgins. Hey, not I, oh, not how. Pounding in our brain. Hey, not I, oh, not how. Just the nights
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
I can't. I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
For God's sake, Higgins, it must be 3 o'clock in the morning.
I am always reasonable. Eliza, if I can go on with a blistering headache, you can.
I have an headache too.
Eliza, I know you're tired. I know your headaches. I know your nerves are raw as meat in a butcher's window. But think what you're trying to accomplish. Think what you're dealing with. The majesty and grandeur of the English language. It's the greatest possession we have. The noblest sentiments that ever flowed in the hearts of men are contained within its extraordinary, imaginative, and musical mixture of sounds. That's what you set yourself to conquer, Eliza. And conquer it you will. Now, try it again.
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
What was that?
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
Again?
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain.
I think she's got it. I think she's got it.
The rain stays mainly in the plain.
By God, she's got it. By God, she's got it. Now once again, we're all in the rain. And where's that song today? Well, thank you, Mrs. Cass. And you?
Very well, sir, thank you.
Splendid. Let's taste her in company and see how she fares.
Mr. Higgins, I was awakened by a dreadful pounding. Do you know what it might have been?
Pounding? I heard no pounding. Did you, Pickering?
No, no.
If this continues, Mrs. Pierce, I should see a doctor. I know, Pickering. Let's take her to the races.
The races?
Yes, my mother's box at Ascot.
You'll consult your mother first, of course.
Of course. No. We'll surprise her. Let's go straight to bed. First thing in the morning, we'll go out and buy her a new dress. Eliza, you go on with your work.
But Mr. Higgins, it's early in the morning.
Better time to work than early in the morning. Where does one buy a lady's gown?
Whiteley's, of course.
How do you know that?
Common knowledge.
You don't want anything too flowery. I despise those gowns with a sort of weed here and a weed there. Something simple, modest, elegant is what's called. Perhaps with a sash. Yes. Just right.
You've all been working much too hard. The strain is beginning to show. Eliza, I don't care what Mr. Higgins says. You must put down your books and go to bed. I'm going to go to bed. My head's too light to try to set it down. Sleep, I'm going to sleep tonight. Thank you.
dear, it's all been grand, dear, but now it's time to sleep. Sunrise, and still
proposes. I've heard you brought a common flower girl from Covent Garden to my box at Ascot.
She'll be all right, darling. I've taught her to speak properly. She has strict orders as to her behaviour. She's to keep to two subjects, the weather and everybody's health. Sort of fine day and how do you do. And not to let herself go on things in general. Help her along, darling. It'll be quite safe.
Safe? To talk about our health in the middle of a race?
Well, she's got to talk about something.
Henry, you're not even properly dressed.
Changed my shirt.
Where is the girl now?
Being pinned. Some of the clothes we wore didn't quite fit properly. That old Pickering, we should have taken her with us.
You're a pretty pair of babies played with a live doll. Ah, Mrs. Eynsford Hill.
Ah, Dad. Are all those people with you?
Mrs. Higgins, is this your celebrated son?
I'm sorry to say my celebrated son has no manners. He may be the life and soul of the Royal Society soirees, but he's rather trying on more commonplace occasions.
Ah!
Ah, Colonel Pickering, you're just in time for the second race.
Thank you. Mrs. Higgins, may I introduce Miss Eliza Doolittle?
My dear Miss Doolittle.
How kind of you to let me come.
Delighted, my dear. Mrs. Eynsford Hill, Miss Doolittle.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Lord and Lady Boxington, Miss Doolittle.
How do you do?
How do you do? How do you do?
At Freddie Eynsford Hill.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Miss Doolittle? Miss Doolittle!
Good afternoon, Professor Higgins.
The first race was very exciting, Miss Doolittle. I'm so sorry you missed it.
Will it rain, do you think?
The rain in spring stays mainly in the plain. But in Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen.
How awfully funny.
What is wrong with that, young man? I bet I got it right.
It's smashing.
I do hope there won't be an unseasonably cold spell. It brings on so much influenza. Our whole family is susceptible to it.
My aunt died of influenza, so they said. But it's my belief they done the old woman.
Done her in?
Yes, Lord love you. Why should she die of influenza when she come through diphtheria right enough the year before? Very blue with it she was. They all thought she was dead, but my father, he kept ladling gin down her throat. Then she come to so sudden that she bit the bowl off the spoon.
Dear me.
Now, what call would a woman with that strength in her have to die of influenza? And what become of her new straw hat that should have come to me? Somebody pinched it. And what I say is, them as pinched it, done her in.
Done her in? Done her in, did you say?
Yes, that's the new small talk. Do a person in means to kill them.
You surely don't believe your aunt was killed.
Do I not? Them she lived with would have killed her for a hat pin, let alone a...
But it can't have been right for your aunt to pour spirits down her throat like that. It might have killed her.
Not her. Gin was mother's milk to her. Besides, he'd poured so much down his own throat that he knew the good of it.
Do you mean he drank?
Drank? My word, something chronic. Here, what are you sniggering at?
The new small talk. You do it so awfully well.
If I was doing it proper, what What are you laughing at? Have I said anything I ought to?
Not at all, my dear.
Well, that's a mercy anyhow. What I always say
I
is...
don't suppose there's enough time before the next race to place a bet.
I'm afraid not, Colonel Pickering.
I have bet on number 7. I should be so happy if you take it. You'll enjoy the race ever so much more.
That's very kind of you.
His name is Dover.
Dover.
There they are again, lining up to run. Now they're holding steady, they are ready for its blow. It has begun.
Come on, Dover. Come on, Dover. Come on, Dover, move your blooming arse.
When she mentioned our aunt bit off the stone, she completely done me. And my heart went on a journey to the moon. Then she told about her father and the king, and I never saw more enchanting eyes than the moment when she shouted, "Move your bloomin'..."
Yes, sir?
It's Miss Doolittle, Poe.
Who should I say is calling?
Freddie Eynsford Hill. If she doesn't remember me, tell her I'm the chap who was sniggering at her.
Yes, sir.
And would you give her these?
Yes, sir.
You needn't rush. I want to drink in the street where she lives.
Yes, sir.
I have often walked down the street before, but the pavement always stayed beneath my feet before. For that once have I several stories high, knowing I'm on the street where you live. Are there lilac trees in the heart of town? And you'll hear a lark in any other part of town. But enchantment pour out of every door. No, it's just on the street where you live. And all the tower feels just
Mr. Eynsford Hill.
Yes?
I'm terribly sorry, sir. Miss Doolittle says she never wants to see anyone ever again.
But why? She was magnificent.
Magnificent? Have you the right address, sir?
Of course. Tell her I'll wait.
It might be days, sir. Even weeks.
But don't you see? I'll be happier here.
People stop and stare. they don't bother me. For there's nowhere else on earth that I would rather be. That's my woman. I won't care if I can be here on the street
Higgins, if there is any mishap at the embassy tonight, if Miss Doolittle suffers any embarrassment whatever, it's on your head alone. I've been begging you to call off this experiment ever since Ascot.
Eliza can do anything.
Suppose she's discovered. Suppose she makes another ghastly mistake.
There'll be no horses at the ball, Pickering.
How agonizing it would be. God, if anything happened tonight, I don't know what I'd do.
You could always rejoin your regiment.
Higgins, this is no time for flippancy. The way you've driven the girl this last 6 weeks has exceeded all bounds of common. Oh, for God's sake, Higgins, stop pacing up and down. Can't you settle somewhere?
Have some port. It'll quieten your nerves.
I'm not nervous. Where is it?
On the desk.
The car is here, sir.
Ah, thank you, Mrs. Pierce. Are you helping Eliza?
Yes, sir.
Help her indeed. I bet you a damn gown doesn't fit. I warned you about those French designers. You should have gone to a good English store where you knew everybody was on our side. Have a little port.
No, thank you.
It'll quieten your nerves.
No, thank you.
Are you so sure she'll retain all you've hammered into her?
We shall see.
Suppose she doesn't.
Then I lose my bet.
You know what I can't stand about you, Higgins, it's your confounded complacency. At a time like this with so much at stake. Subtly indecent, you don't need a little port. And what of the girl? You act as if she doesn't matter at all.
Rubbish, Pickering. Of course she matters. What do you think I've been doing all these months? What could possibly matter more than to take a human being and change her into another human being by creating a new speech for her? Why, it's filling the deepest gulf that separates class from class, or soul from soul. She matters immensely.
Miss Doolittle, you look beautiful.
Thank you, Colonel Pickering.
Don't you think so, Higgins?
Not bad. Bad at all.
by the first hurdle, the ambassador's wife was completely captivated.
I know. I heard several people asking who she is. Do tell me what happened.
Higgins said, Madam Ambassador, I introduced Miss Eliza Doolittle. Madam Ambassador said, how do you do? Eliza came right back with, how do you do?
Is that all?
No. When it was my turn, both the ambassador and his wife said, Colonel Pickering is that captivating creature with Professor Higgins.
What did you say?
I was stopped for a moment till I collected myself and I said, Miss Eliza Doolittle.
That was very quick thinking, Colonel.
Mrs. Higgins, you think Eliza will make it?
Oh, I do hope so. I've grown terribly fond of that girl.
Professor Henry Higgins.
Ah, maestro! Maestro! You remember me?
No, I don't. Who the devil are you?
I am your pupil, your first, your best, your greatest pupil. I am Zoltan Kapati. I have made your name famous throughout Europe. You teach me phonetics. You cannot forget me.
Why don't you shave?
I do not have your imposing appearance, your figure, your brow. Nobody noticed me when I shave.
Where did you find that thing?
Decoration for language. The Queen of Transylvania is here this evening. I am indispensable to her at these international parties. I speak 26 languages. I know everybody in Europe. No impostor escaped my detection. And now, Professor, you must introduce me to this glorious creature you escort this evening. She fascinates everyone. Why not since Mrs. Langtry come to
His
London?
Excellency, Dr. Themistocles Stephanos.
This so-called Greek diplomat pretends he cannot speak English, but he does not deceive me. He is the son of a Yorkshire watchmaker. He dare not utter a word without betraying his origin. But I help him pretend. But I make him pay through the nose. I make them all pay. I look forward to meeting your lady.
I say, Higgins.
Where's Eliza?
Upstairs. Last minute adjustment.
Higgins, let's not risk it. Let's collect Eliza and leave immediately.
Henry, do you think it wise to stay?
Stay? Oh, why not?
Miss Eliza Doolittle.
Ah, Professor, you must introduce me.
2 months ago.
Absolutely fantastic.
Got a top for it.
Higgins, I salute you.
Nonsense. The silly people don't know their own silly business.
Tonight, old man, you did it. You did it. You did it. You said that you would do it, and indeed you did. I thought that you would rue it. I doubted you'd do it. But now I must admit it, that succeed you did. You should get a medal or be even made a knight.
Oh, it was nothing. Really nothing.
All alone, hurdled every obstacle in sight.
Now wait. Give credit where it's due. A lot of the glory goes to you.
But you're the one who did it. You did it. You did it. As sturdy as Gibraltar, not a second did you falter. There's no doubt about it. You did it. I must have aged the year tonight. At times I thought I'd die of fright. Never was there a momentary lull.
Shortly after we came in, I saw at once we'd easily win, and after that I found it deadly dull.
You shouldn't have heard the news and ours, everyone wondering who she was.
You think they'd never seen a lady before?
And when the Prince of Transylvania asked to meet her, and gave his arm to lead her to the floor, I said to him, you did it, you did it, you did it. They thought she was ecstatic and sat down and kissed the ground, and I never
Thank heaven for Zoltan Carthy. He was there all right and up to his old tricks.
Carthy, that dreadful Hungarian, was he there?
Yes. That blackguard who uses the science of speech to blackmail and swindle and teach. He made it the devilish business of his to find out who this Miss Doolittle is. Every time he looked around, there he was, that very owl pulled out head. Never leaving us alone, never have I ever known a dull head. Finally, I decided it was foolish not to let him have his chance with her. So I stood aside and let him dance with her. She hung on every paw, he oiled his way up the floor. Every trick that he could play, he used to strip her mask away. And when at last the dance was done, he glowed as if he knew he'd won. And with a voice so eager and a smile too broad, he announced to the hostess that she was a fraud. Her English is too good, he said, which clearly indicates that she is foreign. Whereas others are instructed in their native language, English people aren't. And although she may have studied with an expert dialectician and grammarian, I can declare that she was Hungarian. Not only Hungarian, but of royal blood. She's a princess. All I can say is, thank God it's all over. At last I can go to bed without dreading tomorrow.
Good night, Mr. Higgins.
Good night.
I think I shall turn in too. It's been a great occasion. Good night, Higgins.
Good night. Oh, Mrs. Pierce! Damn it. I meant to tell her I wanted coffee in the morning instead of tea. Leave a little note, Eliza, will you? Devil have I done with my slippers?
There are your slippers! And there! Take your slippers and may you never have a day's luck with them.
What on earth? Oh, what's the matter? Is anything wrong?
Nothing wrong with you. I've won your bet for you, haven't I? That's enough for you. I don't matter, I suppose.
You won my bet? You presumptuous insect. I won it. What did you throw those slippers at me for?
Because I wanted to smash your face. I'd like to kill you, you selfish brute. Why didn't you leave me where you picked me out of in the gutter? You thank God it's all over and that now you can throw me back again there, do you?
So, the creature is nervous after all. Claws in you, you cat! How dare you show your temper to me? Sit down and be quiet!
What's to become of me? What's to become of me?
How the devil do I know what's to become of you? What does it matter what becomes of you?
You don't care. I know you don't care. You wouldn't care if I was dead. I'm nothing to you, not so much as them slippers.
Those slippers!
Those slippers! I didn't think it made any difference now.
Why have you suddenly begun going on like this? May I ask if you complain of your treatment here?
No.
Has anybody behaved badly to you? Colonel Pickering? Mrs. Pierce?
No.
You don't pretend that I have treated you badly?
No.
Pleased to hear it. Perhaps you're tired after the strain of the day. Have a chocolate.
No. Thank you.
I suppose it was natural for you to be anxious. It's all over now. There's nothing more to worry about.
Nothing more for you to worry about. Oh, God, I wish I was dead.
In heaven's name, why? Oh, listen to me, Eliza. All this irritation is purely subjective.
I don't understand. I'm too ignorant.
It's only imagination. Nobody's hurting you. Nothing's wrong. Oh, you go to bed like a good girl and sleep it off. Have a little cry and say your prayers. That'll make you comfortable.
I heard your prayers. Thank God it's all over.
Well, don't you thank God it's all over? Now you're free and can do what you like.
What am I fit for? What have you left me fit for? Where am I to go? What am I to do? What's to become of me?
So that's what you're worrying about, is it? I shouldn't bother about that if I were you. I should imagine you won't have much difficulty in settling yourself somewhere or other. Although I hadn't quite realised you were going away. You might marry, you know. You see, Eliza, men are not all confirmed old bachelors like me and the Colonel. Most men are the marrying sort. Poor devils. But you're not bad looking. You're quite a pleasure to look at sometimes. Not now, of course. You've been crying. You look like the very devil. But when you're all right and quite yourself, you're what I should call attractive. Oh, come. You go to bed and have a good night's rest, and then get up and look at yourself in the glass. You won't feel so cheap. I dare say my mother can find some chap or other who'd do very well.
We were above that in Covent Garden.
Do you mean?
I sold flowers. I didn't sell myself. Now you've made a lady of me. I'm not fit to sell anything else.
Eliza, don't insult human relations by dragging all that cant about buying and selling into it. You needn't marry the fellow if you don't want to.
What else am I to do?
Lots of things. What about that old idea of a florist shop? Pickering could set up in one. He's got some money. He'll have to pay for all those togs you've been wearing. And that with the hire of the jewels to make a big hole in £200. Oh, come on, you'll be all right. I must clear off the bed. I'm deadly sleepy. I'm away. I was looking for something. What was it?
Your slippers.
Yes, of course. You shied them at me.
Before you go, sir,
Eh?
do my clothes belong to me or to Colonel Pickering?
What the devil use would your clothes be to Colonel Pickering? Why must you start worrying about that in the middle of the night?
I want to know what I may take away with me. I don't want to be accused of stealing.
Stealing? Now, you shouldn't have said that, Eliza. That shows a want of feeling.
I'm sorry. I'm only a common, ignorant girl, and in my station I have to be careful. There can't be any feelings between the like of you and the like of me. Please tell me what belongs to me and what doesn't.
You may take the whole damn house full if you like, except the jewels. They're higher.
Stop!
Will that...
Please. Will you take these to your room and keep them safe? I don't want to run the risk of their being missing.
Hand them over. If these belong to me instead of the jeweller, I'll ram them down your ungrateful throat.
This ring isn't the jeweller's. It's the one you bought me in Brighton. I don't want it now. Don't you hit me!
Hit you? You infamous creature! How dare you accuse me of such a thing? It is you who have hit me. You have wounded me to the heart.
I'm glad I've got a little of my own back anyhow.
You have caused me to lose my temper. A thing which has hardly ever happened before. I prefer to say nothing more tonight. I'm going to bed.
You'd better leave your own note for Mrs. Pierce about the coffee, or it won't be done by me.
Damn Mrs. Pierce. Damn the coffee. And damn you. And damn my own folly for having lavished my hard-earned knowledge and the treasure of my regard and intimacy on a heartless gutter snake.
I'm
Somewhere far away from the cold night air, with one enormous jumbo, wouldn't it be lovely? Lots of chocolate for me to eat, lots of coal making lots of ease, warm fights for hands for big color, wouldn't it be lovely? Oh, so lovely city, absolutely lovely city. I would never hush to spring, that's only with the sound. Someone's there resting on my knee, warm and tender as he can be. The tides of care of me,
Can I help you, miss?
Do you mind if I draw my
No, go ahead. Oh, excuse me, miss. For a second there, I thought you were somebody else. Oh, forgive me, ma'am. It's the early morning light playing tricks with my eyes. Can I get you a taxi, Mark? Maybe like you wandering around London this hour in the morning.
No, thank you.
Come on, Harry.
Someone's head resting on my knee, warm and tender as he can be, who takes good care of me, oh, good and dearly lovely,
Good night, George. Come on, Alfie, it's time to go. Do come again, Mr. Doolittle. We value your patronage always.
Thanks, my good man. Here, take the missus a trip to Brighton.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Doolittle.
Father?
You see how he has no mercy? Send her down to spy me misery house. Me own flesh and blood. Well, I'm miserable, all right. You can tell him that straight.
What are you talking about? What are you all dressed up for?
As if you didn't know. Go on back to that Wimpole Street devil and tell him what he done to me.
What's he done to you?
Ruined me. Destroyed me happiness. Sent me back to the middle-class moralities. And don't you defend him. Was it him or was it not him? What wrote to an old American blighter named Wallingford? What was giving $5 million away to found moral reform societies? To tell him that the most original moralist in England was Mr. Alfred P. Doolittle, common dustman?
That sounds like one of his jokes.
Maybe a joke to you, but put the lid on me right enough. The bloke died. And left me £4,000 a year in his blooming will.
Yeah, come on, Alfie. In a couple of hours, you're supposed to be at the church.
Church?
Yes, church. The deepest cut of all. What do you think I'm all dressed up like a ratty pallbearer for? Your stepmother wants to marry me. Now, I'm respectable. She wants to be respectable.
Well, if that's the way you feel, why don't you give the money back?
Ah, that's the tragedy of it, Eliza. It's easy to say chuck it. Right, the nerve. We're all intimidated. That's what we are, intimidated, and that's what I am. Bought up. That's what your precious professor brought me to.
Not my precious professor.
Oh, sent you back, has he? First he shafts me in the middle class, then he sends you back home for me to support you. All part of his plan, Eliza. You double-cross him. You come home to me. Don't you take tuppence from me. You stand on your own feet. You're a lady now and you can do it.
Eliza, it's getting awfully cold and the taxi's waiting.
I say, you want to see me turned off this morning? St. George's, out of the square, 10 o'clock. I don't advise you, but you're welcome.
No. Thank you, Dad.
Are you all finished here?
Yes, Freddie. I'm all finished here.
Good luck, Dad.
Come on, Alfred. How much time do I have left?
There's just a few more hours. That's all the time you've got. A few more hours before they tie the knot.
Pickering! Pickering! Didn't she say where to send her clothes?
I told you, sir, she took them all with her.
What? Pickering, here's a confounded thing. Eliza's bolted.
Bolted?
Yes, bolted. Mrs. Pierce knew where she was going and didn't tell me a word about it.
Well, I'm dashed.
What am I to do? I got tea this morning instead of coffee. I can't find anything. I don't know what appointments I've got.
Eliza would know.
Well, of course she would, but damn it, she's gone.
Did either of you two gentlemen frighten her last night?
You were there, Mrs. Pierce. We hardly said a word to her. Higgins, did you bully her after I went to bed?
Just the other way round. She threw the slippers at me. I never gave her the slightest provocation. The slippers just came bang at my head before I uttered a word. And she used the most perfectly awful language. I was quite shocked.
Well, I'm dashed.
I cannot understand it. She was given every consideration. She admitted it herself.
Well, I'm dashed.
For God's sake, Pickering, stop being dashed and do something!
What?
Well, telephone the police. What are they for, in heaven's name?
You can't give Eliza's name to the police as if she were a thief or a lost umbrella.
Why not? I want to find her. The girl belongs to me. I paid £5 for her.
Quite right. Scotland Yard, please. Oh, may I have some coffee, Mrs. Pierce?
Yes, sir.
Scotland Yard. Ah, good morning, old chap. Colonel Hugh Pickering here, 27A Wimpole Street. Now, I'd like to report a missing person. Anything you can do to assist in her recovery will be frightfully appreciated. I'm not without influence, and I'll see to it that your superiors... Oh, yes, Eliza Doolittle. About 21. I should say about 5'7". Her eyes, let me see.
Brown!
Brown. Her hair. Her hair is rather a neutral, nondescript colour. I should say more than a sort of hazel type.
Brown! Brown! Brown!
You heard what he said. Brown. Yes, it is her residence. Between 3 and 4 this morning, I believe. Oh, no. She's no relation, shall we just say a close friend. Now, see here, my good man, I'm not at all pleased with the telephone question. What the girl does here is our affair. Your affair is to get her back so that she can continue doing it.
What in all of heaven could have prompted her to go? After such a triumph at the ball. What could have depressed her? What could have possessed her? I cannot understand the rest at all.
Higgins, I'm an old school chum at the Home Office. I've seen him. I'll call him. Whitehall 7244, please.
Women are irrational. That's all there is to that. Their heads are full of cotton hay and rags. They're nothing but exasperating, irritating, fascinating, calculating, agitating, maddening, and infuriating men.
Bruce the budget, please. Yes, I'll wait.
Pickering, why can't a woman be more like a man? Yes. Why can't a woman be more like a man? You're not so honest, so thoroughly square, eternally noble, historically fair, who when you win will always give you back and win. Why can't a woman be like that? Why does everyone do what the others do? Can't a woman learn to use her head? Why do they do everything their mothers do? Why don't they throw off life with logs instead? Why can't a woman take after a man? Men are so pleasant, so easy to please. Whenever you're with them, you're dinner, would you, Bella?
Of course not.
If I forgot your silly birthday, would you fuss? Nonsense. Would you complain if I took out another fella?
Never.
Why can't a woman be like us?
Who's the budgeon, please? Boozy! You'll never guess who this is. Yes, it is. By George, what a memory. How are you, old fella? It's so good to hear your voice again. 30 years, is it really? Yes. Oceans of water, yes, that Boozy, old fellow. I'll tell you why I called. Something rather unpleasant has happened at this end. Could I come right over and see you? Oh, good. I'll be right there. Thank you, Boozy. I'm going over to the Home Office, Mrs. Pierce.
I do hope you find her, Colonel Pickering. Mr. Higgins will miss her.
Mr. Higgins will miss her, eh? Blast Mr. Higgins, I'll miss her.
Pickering? Pickering? Where's the Colonel?
He's gone to the Home Office, sir.
Ah. You see, Mrs. Pierce? I'm disturbed, and he runs to help. Now there's a good fellow. Mrs. Pierce, you're a woman. Why can't a woman be more like a man? Men are so decent, such regular chaps. They're ready to help you, ready in his hands, ready to back you up whenever you are young. Why can't a woman be a charm? Why is thinking something women never do? Why is logic never even tried? Straightening up their hair is all they ever do. Why don't they straighten up the messes inside? Why can't a woman be more like a man? If I were, or been to war, been hailed a princess, my one and my all, would I start weeping like the bathtub overflowing? Or carry on as if my home were in a tree? Or I run off and never tell me where I'm going? Why can't a woman be like me?
And you mean to say, after you did this wonderful thing for them, without making a single mistake, they just sat there and never said a word to you? Never petted you or admired you or told you how splendid you'd been?
Not a word.
That's simply appalling. I should not have thrown the slippers at him. I should have thrown the fire irons.
Mother! Mother!
I thought it wouldn't be long. Stay where you are, my dear.
Mother! Where the devil are you?
Remember last night? You not only danced with a prince, you behaved like a princess.
Mother, the damnedest thing. You?
Good afternoon, Professor Higgins. Are you quite well? Am I? But of course you are. You are never ill. Would you care for some tea?
Don't you dare to play that game on me. I taught it to you. Come home at once and don't be a fool. You've caused me enough trouble for one morning.
Very nicely put indeed, Henry. No woman could resist such an invitation.
How did this baggage get here in the first place?
Eliza came to see me, and I was delighted to have her. And if you don't promise to behave yourself, I shall have to ask you to leave.
Do you mean I'm to put on my Sunday manners for this thing I created from the squashed cabbage leaves of Covent Garden?
Yes, dear? That's precisely what I mean.
Well, I'll see her dad first.
How did you ever learn manners with my son around?
It was very difficult. I should never have known how ladies and gentlemen behaved if it hadn't been for Colonel Pickering. He always showed me that he thought and felt about me as if I was something better than a common flower girl. You see, Mrs. Higgins, apart from the things one can pick up, the difference between a lady and a flower girl is not how she behaves, but how she is treated. I shall always be a flower girl to Professor Higgins because he always treats me as a flower girl and always will. But I know that I shall always be a lady to Colonel Pickering because he always treats me as a lady and always will.
Henry, please don't grind your teeth. I must go and see Cook about the menu for tonight. Eliza, if my son begins to break things, you have my full permission to have him evicted. Henry, dear, if I were you, I'd stick to 2 subjects. The weather and your health.
Well, Eliza, you've had a little of your own back, as you put it. Have you had enough? Now are you going to be reasonable? Or do you want some more?
You want me back only to pick up your slippers and put up with your tempers and fetch and carry for you.
I haven't said I want you back at all.
Oh, indeed. Then what are we talking about?
About you, not about me. If you come back, I shall treat you as I have always treated you. I cannot change my nature, and I'm not going to change my manners. My manners are the same as Colonel Pickering's.
That's not true. He treats a flower girl as if she were a duchess.
And I treat a duchess as if she were a flower girl.
Oh, I see. The same to everybody.
Just so. The great secret, Eliza, is not having bad manners, or good manners, or any other particular sort of manners, but having the same manner to all human souls. The question is not whether I treat you rudely, but whether you ever heard me treat anyone else better.
I don't care how you treat me. I don't mind you swearing at me. I shouldn't mind a black eye, I've had one before, but I won't be passed over.
Then get out of my way, for I won't stop for you. You talk about me as if I were a motor bus.
So you are a motor bus, all bounce and go and no consideration for anyone. But I can get along without you. Don't think I can't.
So you can. I told you could. Have you ever wondered, I suppose, whether I could get along without you?
You'll have to. Don't try to get around me.
And so I can, without you or any soul on earth. But I shall miss you, Eliza. I've learned something from your idiotic notion. I admit that humbly and gratefully.
Well, you have my voice on your gramophone. Whenever you feel lonely without me, you can turn it on. It's got no feelings to hurt.
I cannot turn your soul on.
Oh, you are a devil. You can twist the heart in a girl as easily as some can twist her arms to hurt her. What am I to come back for?
For the fun of it. That's why I took you on.
And you may throw me out tomorrow if I don't do everything you want me to?
Yes. Or you may walk out tomorrow if I don't do everything you want me to.
And live with my father?
Yes, or sell flowers. Or perhaps you'd rather marry Pickering.
I wouldn't marry you if you asked me, and you're nearer my age than what he is.
Than he is.
I'll talk as I like. You're not my teacher now. That's not what I want, and don't you think it. I've always had chaps enough wanting me that way. Freddie Hill writes to me 2 and 3 times a day, sheets and sheets.
Oh, in short, you want me to be as infatuated about you as he is. Is that it?
No, I don't. That's not the sort of feeling I want from you. I want a little kindness. I know I'm only a common, ignorant girl and you a book-learned gentleman, but I'm not dirt under your feet. What I did, was not for the dresses and the taxes. I did it because we were present together, and I came to care for you. Not to want you to make love to me and not forgetting the difference between us, but more friendly like.
Yes, of course. That's how I feel. That's how Pickering feels. Oh, Eliza, you're a fool.
That's not a proper answer to give me.
It's all you'll get to do stop being a plain idiot. If you're going to become a lady, you'll have to stop feeling neglected when the men you know don't spend half their time snivelling over you, and the other half giving you a black eye. You find me cold, unfeeling, selfish, don't you? Very well. Be off with you to the sort of people you like. Marry some sentimental old hog or other with lots of money, and a thick pair of lips to kiss you with, and a thick pair of boots to kick you with. If you can't appreciate what you've got, you'd better get what you can appreciate.
I can't talk to you. You turn everything against me. I'm always in the wrong. But don't you be too sure you have me under your feet to be trampled on and talked down. I'll marry Freddie, I will, as soon as I'm able to support him.
Freddie. That poor devil who couldn't get himself a job as an errand boy. Even if he had the guts to go for it. Woman, do you not understand? I have made you a consort for a king.
Freddie loves me. That makes him king enough for me. I don't want him to work. He wasn't brought up to it as I was. I'll go and be a teacher.
What'll you teach in heaven's
What you
name?
taught me, I'll teach phonetics. I'll offer myself as an assistant to that brilliant Hungarian.
What? That impostor, that humbug, that Tony Ignoramus, teaching my methods, my discoveries. You take one step in that direction and I'll wring your neck. You hear?
Ring away, what do I care? I knew you'd strike me one day. Aha, that's done you, Henry Higgins, it has. Now I don't care that for your bullying and your big talk. What a fool I was. What a dominated fool to think you love me and sky. What a fool I was. What an aggravated fool. What a mutton-headed dolt was I. I remember it. You are not
Impudent husk. There's not an idea in your head, or a word in your mouth that I haven't put there.
There'll be spring every year without you. England still will be here without you. There'll be fruit on the tree and the shore by the sea. There'll be crumpets and tea without you. Art and music will thrive without you. Somehow keeps will spine without you. And there still will be rain on that green mountain plain. Even that will remain without you. I can do
You are magnificent. 5 minutes ago, you were a millstone round my neck. Now you're a tower of strength, a consort battleship. I like you this way.
Goodbye, Professor Higgins. I shall not be seeing you again.
My
to do?
Do without, I suppose.
So I shall. If the Higgins oxygen burns her little lungs, let her seek some stuffiness that suits her. She's an owl, sickened by a few days of my sunshine. Very well, let her go. I can do without her. I can do without anyone. I have my own soul, my own spark of divine fire.
Brava, Eliza.
loins, her woes, her highs, are second nature to me now. Like breathing out and breathing in. I'm very grateful she's a woman and so easy to forget. Rather like a habit one can always break. And yet, I've grown accustomed to the trace of something in the air, accustomed to the face.
Treats me as if I was dirt. I know what lessons cost as well as you do, and I'm ready to play.
It's almost irresistible. She's so deliciously low, so horribly dirty.
I washed me face and hands before I come, I did.
Eliza? Where the devil are my slippers?
quite like a chairman's speech to thoroughly destroy the atmosphere of any judgment occasion. But it's traditional, it's Saturday, so you get one. It's words, 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 isn't it? You lot must be sick of words. Every night. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. By your applause, you've said thank you to everybody on stage. It's my happy duty to say thank you to everybody off stage. The backstage crew, front of house, you name it. They've worked very hard as usual. And looking after us and photographing us, hopefully. Our thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Harrison and their orchestra for playing with us all the way. They got paid last night, but they still come back to you. And thank you to our audience. We've had full houses every night this week. It's been absolutely tremendous. And we do thank you ever so much for your attendance and for supporting us so very generously. And now a little historic moment, ladies and gentlemen. Will you say welcome and well done to our musical director, Ronald Beale. Keep just one page ahead of his principals, our director, Stephen Yeomans. This year London, next year Greece. We do hope you'll be able to join us again next March with La Belle Hélène by Offenbach, a little bit of a romp for us. So from all of us down here, to all of you up there, good night.